Hello, it's Gary Fox here, and tonight I'm going to talk about graphical construction, but instead of actually showing one, tonight I'm going to show why you may want to do this. So the first thing I did, I kind of went through my house and started looking at objects, photographing them, and here's a guitar, and we're going to deal with it in a little bit, but you'll see this is a picture of the face of a guitar. I happen to have a person that's on a viewer that makes guitars. I don't know if he wants to make a electric or acoustic, but that would be a shape that would be kind of interesting because we definitely have a lot of curves going on here. We'd have probably there's a straight line right there, so that curve goes into a straight line, so we've got a tangent there. We haven't dealt with that yet, but we will be very quickly. So that's an example. Here's a brush, and we're going to deal with this one quite a bit. But you can see it's got a lot of curves in it, and they design things like that to make them kind of pleasing to look at. Obviously, with my hair, I don't use it too often. But anyhow, this is a face of a stereo unit I have. And let's see if I can move these things up. I guess I can't. Okay, there's the face of it. And you see that it's at angles. There's not a lot here that's done, but you see that we've got a circle that is then going into two tangents on the straight line right there. And then we've got these curves at each corner right here where we've got a circle that's tangent to two lines. And then LibreCAD, that's automatic with the round function. But if we were laying this out and saying we were making a gigantic one that would be too big for us to print, maybe we're making a display of some sort, that would be, we would need to know how to make a circle that's tangent to two lines. Continuing on, this is a printer that I have, and as you can see, it's got these lots of pleasing curves in it the way it's designed. It's got this kind of curve right in here where they hollowed it out, and then they put this button plate on there, and then curves down here. Nothing, very little on this thing is straight. Of course, that's straight right there where it's feeding the paper and where it picks up the paper, because that has to serve the purpose of dealing with straight paper. But you see there's a lot of pleasing curves designed in this. You may want to build things of your own that have a lot of curves. Next picture is just like four items that I just picked up randomly. You see we've got a curve that then goes into pretty close to a straight line. It then goes back into another curve. That's just a simple, cheap paper tape dispenser. Up here is a real old stapler which was made real well. You can't buy them like that anymore, I don't think. And you see that this metal in here has curves. It has a round where they've combined a circle that's tangent to two lines. And then right here's another one. And then the whole thing is kind of pleasing the way they did it. And they also have a round done right here. So you can see that there's a lot of places where you're having to make circles and straight lines tangent with each other. Here's a newer cell phone. New for me, I'm not as modern as some of you folks. That's as much cell phone as I want right there. I don't like being reached out and touched all the time. And then here's a spark plug, and it was designed with these curves and tangents. But it was done for a purpose to make this insulator right here to insulate the top part from the body of the spark plug. So you see that it used a lot of curves in it. A lot of these functions that we're learning. And then here's some more just household items. You see the handle of this pair of scissors. There's a lot of curves being done there in the thumb hole and in the finger hole also. Those two circles are not exactly, the two lines here are not exactly parallel to each other. Plus there's a little bit of a curve going on right there to make it look a little bit more pleasing. Yeah, that's all done mass production. They do it with a lot of plastic. But here's an older item. It's a toenail clipper. You see that it also has rounded at the edges. It's curved up here to match your toenails, I guess. And it's curved even in the, there's a little bit of curve right in here, a bow in the sides of the thing. Simple binder clip. That was probably curved like that to add a little extra strength to those handles, and it makes them a little easier to fit. So you see that was there's a straight line, and then a circle that's tangent to both parts of the line, and then here's a larger circle, and then right here is a circle that's tangent to that circle, and this straight line. So you see the shapes are kind of complicated, and if you were designing something and you were designing something where you wanted it to look really nice, knowing how to do the graphical construction techniques that we're learning would be really handy. And we are learning. Now, I've had this stuff in the past, but I didn't care about it. I'm actually relearning it as I'm going through these things. This is a microphone. It's one that's designed to fit around your ear, and it's actually what I'm talking on right this moment. But it's not plugged into my ear either, by the way, because that part done fell off. But you see it has this kind of pleasing shape to it to just make it look better. So everywhere you look, you see these kind of shapes. That's why we're learning these techniques. And that's why there is a usefulness to it. A lot of projects that we'll make, we use straight lines or we use simple circles. But sooner or later, you're going to want to make a project that looks a little bit different, a little bit more personalized. So you may want to use these techniques. Okay, we've kind of went through a lot of objects. Let's go back and let's deal first with the guitar. I'm pulling up actual CAD right now. And you see I took that picture of the guitar and then I put a couple circles in there trying to fit them to what the guitar's picture is. And nothing is scaled, by the way. It's just a photograph. And it was done with quite a few pixels. But I found a circle that would fit pretty close to that corner up there. A circle that would fit to this corner. And then a circle that pretty much fit the bow that fits where your leg fits on the guitar if you're sitting down. And then what I did, turn the picture off now so we can see it, I did a tangent from circle to circle and another tangent from circle to circle. I'm doing all this in CAD. Obviously a guitar, I would have a lot of trouble printing that out. I just don't have a printer that big. So I would probably end up doing it in CAD to begin with. And then what I would want to do in the future would be to go ahead and then scale it, put some dimensions on it. And then actually I'd have to draw it by hand when I got ready to lay out the pattern for cutting the guitar face, or cutting a pattern to figure out how I'm going to bow these sides. And I don't know anything at all about building a guitar. So I'm not an expert on what it takes to hold one together. I can imagine it's not an easy project. There's a lot of force there on those strings to make them sound like they do. Yet the body of that guitar has to be fairly hollow so that it makes a good soundboard. So building guitars has got to be a little bit of a tough hobby, these acoustic ones especially. Okay, we're going to go and deal with the brush, and I'm going to show you what I did to try to come up with something that was close to what the brush would be. Now, if you were designing your own project, you wouldn't be just copying something like I'm doing here, but I wanted to show an example of what's really going into the designing this. So what I did, I took the picture, and then I fit some curves, and I fit this side over here with a circle. I partial circle to fit this side. It's actually a full circle. And then a circle to fit this one. And then I tried putting a circle in right here. Circle to fit the handle, both parts of the handle. Okay, the next step of what I did in that is I drew some junk lines so that I could cut off that circles right there to get rid of some of the stuff. And you will find when you start trying to trim circles, you're a whole lot better off to create these junk lines temporarily to trim a circle like that. And I changed the color just to make it easier to show where I was at so I could describe it. Okay, now I trimmed these lines to this circle over here. And you see it's getting fairly close. I missed it a little bit with that one up there at the top. And the problem is I got these sharp edges, but we'll be taking care of those as we go. So let's go to the next picture of what I had done. I started putting in a few more circles. And start trying to fit more and more of it. Now some of these I ended up erasing. Let's go back to that previous one. What I also did was use a round function, which is built in CAD, but basically what it does is it takes about 3 steps at one time. It takes and makes a circle that's tangent to 2 points, and then it trims everything off so that you don't have the whole circle showing, and you don't have the 2 endpoints, although something went wrong right here. And then I knew that was final, so I changed the layer on it. Okay. Started adding more junk lines temporarily, and started trimming some of those other circles off. And you see I'm starting to get a shape there that's looking pretty close. Did kind of a bad job right in this area. I didn't make those 2 tangent to each other. I'm kind of winging it a little bit. If I were designing this thing and it was going to be something that I was going to keep, let's say it was something a little bit larger, I'm going to make a weird shaped paddle to paddle my kids with or something. This would be, it would be my shape, whatever I wanted. I wouldn't be trying to fit something that's already pre-designed. But we're doing this to show kind of what it takes to get these kind of strange shapes. Okay, continuing on, as you can see, I started gradually rounding off some more and more of those circles, and I was getting the shape a little bit closer, and I called this final, but I did do another step. Here, I turned off the picture to show what it was. I cleaned that up, that extra point right here, and I did some more rounding up in these areas. So you can see it's looking pretty close to that, and so I got this really strange shape here, but it's made out of circles and lines. Actually all circles on this one. I don't believe there's a single line in this thing, but it's made out of circles, and using tangent from 2 circles to another circle to come up with the rounded ends right in here. So that kind of gives you an idea of why this is good stuff to know. Now, As I said, I don't know it all that well. What I do is go back to the book, or I'm going to be going back to my videos to remember how to do some of these things. But it's good to know where to get it sometimes. Anyhow, hopefully this helped you out on why we're going through all this. That's what the whole goal of this was. I'm like a little kid. I'm always asking, well, why? Why do I have to do this? Why? And I kind of figure most of you are the same. There's plenty of stuff to learn out there, so why learn useless stuff if you don't have to? If you're watching these videos, you've got an interest in this stuff, so I wanted to give you a reason why to do it. It's not just an exercise, just to know how to do it. Appreciate you listening. Hopefully you got something out of this. Thank you. This is Gary Fox of Create and Make.